maybe, I don't know, the patriarchy doesn't want women tapping into their power because they're
Course
afraid of
not.
what we're going to do with that, you know?
Yeah.
So,
Well, I
yeah.
mean, that feeds nicely into the new movie that you guys are doing, which is also a little bit of sticking it to the establishment
A
in a
little bit.
way.
Now we're taking on Big Pharma. Yeah, it's the business of birth control is definitely a conversation starter, and it's been really difficult, particularly in this country, putting that film out because people don't want to have that conversation, particularly right now when our rights are being taken away with Roe v. Wade being. I mean, it's just I get it. I really get it. But we started this movie 7, 8 years ago. We were also making another film in the process. We were making We the People at the same time. So it took longer than it would have otherwise. But we started in 2013 or 2014.
Wow.
Yeah, it's because it was stop, start, stop, start.
Right.
Yeah.
But it's just the timing of it coming out this year when this whole thing happened with Roe v. Wade. It's just, but we have to be able to have these nuanced conversations about our options,
Well,
course.
exactly. It's the idea of options and understanding that chemicals aren't always the solution, you know?
Can you speak to just like the premise of what
Yes.
of the
so
movie itself?
so we were approached. Abby and I were, like I said, working on this other film about cannabis and medicinal cannabis when it comes to children with pediatric cancer, and that one's on Netflix right now. But Abby was sent the galley of a book called Sweetening the Pill by a writer named Holly Grigg-Spall, an English brilliant woman who basically wrote this book about her experience of being on the pill or on some synthetic birth control, and when she went off, like she became a totally different person. She had no like sense of like who she was. She was trying to figure it out being off of these drugs, and so she wrote this book, really provocative, really well written. And so she sent it to Abby thinking she wanted to make a film with us on it, and Abby read it the galley on the way out to visit me. We were doing a shoot for We the People, and she's like, I think this is our next film, and all the dots that were put together in the making of this film, just like all these side effects. That we were both on birth control I was on the pill for almost 2 decades, and I had hair loss. I didn't know that was a side effect. I mean, that's my own personal like piece of this is, we have young women that have died from, pulmonary embolisms on the drug. So basically what we did with birth, with the business of being born, is what we wanted to do with the business of birth control, is educate and empower women with information, because so much of what we learned is head spinning. The fact that it changes your pheromones, like it changes who you're attracted to when you're on the pill, like it shuts you in menopause. It doesn't make your body think it's pregnant. It puts you don't have a cycle anymore, so it's just all these things were just like head spinning, mind blowing information that we wanted women to have access to.
And have you found resistance from the establishment again?
I mean, it's resistance as far as promotion, like mainstream media, like I'm a big name and I go on all these shows and they love to talk about my new relationship and how I got through the loss of my other husband. And, they love to talk about that, but they would not show a clip of the film.
Really?
Because Big Pharma is deeply tied to all of these,
It challenges the sponsors.
Yeah. And I thought for sure, like we've managed to sell all of our movies, and yeah, we don't have a buyer in the US. And so we've since gone to Europe. I just got back this week. I was in Berlin at the Berlin Human Rights Festival, and in London we screened it, and it did so well in the London screenings. We had 2 screenings. They're now Everyman Theater, which is Everyman Cinema is a theater group, and they're playing the film in like 30 theaters for a special event. Yeah. So it's much more well received, or they're much more open in other countries. But it's sobering for sure, because like this is information I think every woman, every teenage girl that's put on these drugs for not even contraceptive reasons, for acne or for bad period cramps or for regulating your cycle. I mean, you should know it's not regulating your cycle. It's stopping your cycle, And so again, like I want to be really clear, we're not trying to scare women. We're trying to educate. And I don't care what a woman does with her body. I just want her to have access to the information.
Yeah. And so she can make her right decision for her body. I was on the pill for like 10 years before I went off 3 months before I went off, and then 3 months afterwards I got pregnant with Xavier.
You're very lucky. You're
Yes,
very lucky.
I
Me
hear
too.
you.
I got off and I got pregnant the first time I tried. But a lot of women suffer with infertility. They have, they can't get back to a normal cycle. I mean, the fact that your body reacted so quickly is really, you're one of the lucky ones, I think.
Yeah, because I've heard stories also from other friends that it's taken them sometimes even a year to get their period back. And it just starts to make you think like, what are we actually taking? It's just a little pill and it's become such a habitual thing. Like again, 10 years. I didn't think about it. I was like, I'm just taking my, every new pack, just take another pill, like keeps me, going. And
You don't have to think about it.
yeah, you don't think about it. It's just a tiny little pill.
But the first one you took, right? Wasn't there issues?
The very first time I went on birth control myself, they put me on this one that was called like Yasmin.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. And I got a terrible reaction from it. I like got so bloated and like I gained a lot of weight like super quickly. I was moody. It was the worst thing. And so I went to the doctor and said, look, something's happening with my body. They took me off and put me on a less. And that was the one I was on for like 10 years. And then